Lacey is getting ready to spend the weekend with her friends, while her husband Blake will stay home and keep working. He designs office buildings, but lately the demand for such services has dropped, since more and more people are working remotely. The couple is expecting a baby, but Lacey has not told her friends about it yet. Kathy, Blake's colleague, comes over so they can work on their project together. Lacey fully trusts her husband, so she lets them stay alone. Her friends pick her up: Addie, Rebecca, and Janice. The women are planning to have a great time and really let loose. They have a full 72 hours. They get into the car and drive off, anticipating an amazing weekend. The women have rented a luxurious mansion in advance, complete with a pool and everything else. It is the perfect place to celebrate Rebecca's 40th birthday. Lacey notices that Addie seems worried about something. The woman says she is nervous because it is the first time she has left her son Cam on his own. Lacey calls her husband to let him know that they have arrived and got settled. Through the phone, she hears Blake and Kathy fooling around, which raises certain suspicions. Still, Lacey tries to push away the bad thoughts. Rebecca cheers her friend up, saying that she has also been married to a workaholic for 15 years and has learned how to deal with it. But in truth, that is not what worries Lacey at all. She accidentally finds Janice's flash drive, disguised as a lipstick. Janice works at a bank, so she needs to keep such devices in an inconspicuous place, for example in a makeup bag. Lacey says that she will not be drinking this weekend. Janice guesses that her friend is pregnant. Lacey did not want to tell anyone too early. It is not that she is particularly superstitious, rather her previous failed pregnancies have shaken her badly. The women enjoy their vacation, sipping cocktails and sampling delicious food by the pool. Toward evening, it is time to blow out the candles on the birthday cake. Rebecca thanks her friends for being in her life. They have been friends for many years, with the exception of Janice, who joined them only last year. Even so, she fit in quickly. The women play truth or dare. Lacey's card requires her to reveal her biggest secret. Embarrassed, she says that she has no secrets, but that answer clearly satisfies no one. This forces Lacey to confess her pregnancy. The women are overjoyed for their friend and congratulate her. Later in her room, Lacey gets ready for bed. She cannot shake the anxiety about her husband's fidelity. Could there be something between Blake and Kathy? Lacey tries to trust him, but it is becoming harder and harder. In the middle of the night, she wakes up to the voices of women arguing. Perhaps it was just dialogue from a movie. She had not turned off the television. In the morning, stepping out onto the balcony, Lacey discovers Janice's body beneath the window to her horror. The women call an ambulance and the police. No one could have imagined that the weekend would end like this. Detective Sanchez, who is leading the investigation into Janice's death, questions Lacey. She explains that she went to bed earlier than the others the night before because she was not drinking due to her pregnancy. Lacey did not notice anything unusual in Janice's behavior. She feels that she heard something in the middle of the night, but she is not sure. Janice's room was locked from the inside. So far there are no significant clues. Before leaving, Detective Sanchez gives Lacey her business card, in case she remembers anything. Some time later, Janice's autopsy confirms that it was an accident. Lacey still cannot believe that it really happened. Since Janice has no close relatives, her house is put up for auction. This comes as a surprise to Lacey. She calls the bank where Janice supposedly worked to inform her management about the memorial service, but it turns out that there is no employee there with that name. Lacey shares this with Rebecca and Addie. It is strange that Janice lied to them about working at a bank and never mentioned her family. On top of that, the women find other inconsistencies, for example regarding Janice's place of birth and which college she attended. Why did she tell them different stories? Lacey cannot shake the feeling that she heard voices that night. Rebecca thinks it would be better not to dig into this, especially since the police have closed the case. According to the official version, Janice, while intoxicated, accidentally fell from the balcony. Rebecca insists that if Janice was hiding many things about herself, then she must have had her reasons. To distract her friend from gloomy thoughts, Rebecca gives Lacey a gift, a baby monitor. Her husband Paul manufactures them. They all need to come to terms with the fact that it was an accident and move on with their lives. However, Lacey cannot calm down until she learns the truth. At night, she sneaks into Janice's house, hoping to find at least some clues. She does: suspicious bank statements and keys. Suddenly the door to the room slams shut. Someone is in the house. Panicking, Lacey hurries to leave. The next day she writes in their group chat with the women, but for some reason the ability to send messages is blocked. At the same moment Blake shares good news with her. He and Kathy have landed a new client, a wealthy lawyer. Blake plans to have dinner at Kathy's place that evening to celebrate the occasion. Hearing this, Lacey is upset. Trying not to show her jealousy, she suggests having dinner at their house instead, all together. In the end, Blake has to give in. Addie begins to avoid Lacey and does not even invite her to her son's birthday party. Lacey tries to find out what is going on. Why was she removed from the group chat? Addie says that she is weighed down by the constant talk about Janice's death. She was their friend. She is gone, and there is no reason to treat this like a true crime podcast. Addie thinks that Lacey is clinging to this whole fantasy only to avoid dealing with the problems in her marriage. Blake surely is not spending so much time with Kathy for no reason. Before the celebratory dinner, he is very nervous because their client will also be present. Anything could go wrong at the deal closing stage. Kathy reassures Blake and keeps touching him, not embarrassed at all by the presence of his wife. Lacey tries not to notice it. Soon Neil arrives, a lawyer specializing in family law. The dinner goes smoothly, except for the fact that Blake keeps praising Kathy's architectural talent. When the guest finally leaves, they sit together on the couch, sipping wine and giggling with each other, while Lacey washes the dishes. Her eyes fall on a final overdue payment notice addressed to Janice. Lacey's suspicions grow stronger. Meanwhile, Blake walks Kathy out, openly flirting with her. Despite the late hour, under the pretense of going to the store for milk, Lacey heads to the address listed in the letter. Using a key taken from Janice's house, she opens the corresponding garage, where she finds numerous fake IDs. Janice was not who she claimed to be. On top of that, Lacey finds a gun and cash. Suddenly the car stereo turns on, forcing her to shift her attention. Lacey is about to leave immediately, when the car doors suddenly lock on their own. She sees a menacing message on the garage door, urging her to stay where she is. It was definitely not there before. Lacey tries to call Blake, but to no avail. In the end, she climbs out of the car through the trunk. Someone was clearly following her. At home, the woman feels unwell, and Blake urgently takes her to the hospital. Her blood pressure is elevated due to stress, even though she tries to deny that anything is bothering her. The doctor advises the woman to focus on stress management. Blake stays home to take care of his wife. He says that Kathy is at the office and can manage without him. Lacey is still upset that she was not invited to Cam's birthday party, which is taking place that very day. Taking advantage of the fact that Blake is busy working in the living room, Lacey sneaks into Addie's house. The party is being held in the backyard, so there is no one inside. Lacey rummages through Addie's belongings and finds the lipstick-shaped flash drive, the very one that belonged to Janice. At that moment she notices Blake and Kathy arguing about something outside. Addie catches Lacey with the flash drive in her hand. Realizing that Addie is behind Janice's death, Lacey tries to escape, but Rebecca blocks her path. It turns out that the women are working together. Rebecca was protecting Addie, helping her get rid of Janice. In truth, she had only pretended to be their best friend in order to gain their trust. Addie's ex-husband, Kurt Gilman, was extremely abusive, and one day, having gathered her courage, she fled from him together with their son. In fact, the flash drive did not belong to Janice but to Addie, and it contained incriminating evidence against Kurt, video and audio recordings of his beatings. Addie was blackmailing her ex-husband to make sure he would not look for them. That is why he hired Janice to steal the flash drive and destroy the evidence forever. Only she failed. On the night of the party, Janice had a breakdown and told them the truth. She could not go on like this anymore, because she had genuinely grown attached to the women. But they did not believe her. During the struggle, Rebecca accidentally pushed Janice off the balcony. Now they want to make sure that Lacey will keep the secret. They tried to cover their tracks and make sure that she would not suspect anything, but her intuition led her to the garage. Lacey insists that they have to go to the police. It was an accident, and besides, Addie was a victim. Rebecca and Addie object, saying that this is not enough, not after Janice died. They would be arrested, and Cam would end up in the custody of his abusive father. They show Lacey one of the audio recordings of Kurt threatening his ex-wife. This man is capable of many things. But even that does not convince Lacey, who continues to believe that Janice's life mattered. Yes, she lied to them, but she did not deserve such a fate. Lacey leaves. Rebecca realizes that any arguments will be useless, so she decides to give Lacey a different reason to worry. To distract his wife, Blake suggests that they go shopping together and then have lunch. The baby monitor is left on. When they leave, Rebecca sneaks into their house and plants a negligee in their bed. Lacey no longer has any doubts that her husband is cheating on her, even though he adamantly denies it and claims he has no idea where the negligee came from. His recent argument with Kathy was work-related. He insists that there is nothing between them except business. Family comes first for him. Lacey would very much like to believe Blake, but she cannot. The negligee could not have appeared out of thin air. She needs time. Blake leaves, and Lacey stays home alone for the night. Rebecca rejoices, having achieved her goal. Realizing that the baby monitor has been on all this time, Lacey figures out that Rebecca gave it to her only to eavesdrop on her. And it was Rebecca who planted the negligee, in order to drive the couple apart and divert Lacey's attention. The next morning she pretends to call Detective Sanchez and arranges a meeting with her, claiming she wants to share information about Janice. Rebecca arrives at the meeting place, an abandoned warehouse, and realizes too late that she has fallen into Lacey's trap. Meanwhile, Lacey returns to the mansion where Janice died to photograph the marks on the carpet left by Rebecca's shoes. Blake does not answer his wife's calls, and she leaves him a voicemail asking him to call her back as soon as possible. Kathy supports Lacey during this difficult moment. In reality, there is nothing between Kathy and Blake, they are just colleagues. Lacey goes to the construction site, thinking that her husband might be there. Instead, she finds only Neil, who kindly offers her a cup of coffee. He seems kind and supportive, telling the woman that Blake is focused solely on her and their child. This cheers Lacey up. She notices a beaded bracelet on Neil's wrist. The man explains that it was made by his son, whom he lost when the boy was 6. After that, Lacey goes to Addie and shows her photographs of the limited edition imported shoes worn by Rebecca. Their prints are all over the room where Janice fell. The pattern on those shoes is one of a kind. This proves that Rebecca lied to the police when she claimed she had not been in Janice's room at the time of her fall. Lacey intends to show this to Sanchez, because one way or another, Janice deserves justice. Addie begs her friend not to do this because it would destroy her life. Once she thought Kurt was the man of her dreams. He seemed kind and caring, but it was only a mask. Addie cannot allow her son to be left with his father. In the end she gives in, and agrees to go to the police with Lacey. Detective Sanchez goes to Rebecca's place to arrest her, but by then the woman has already disappeared. Clearly she realized that she was being sought. Lacey worries about what will happen to Addie. Detective Sanchez promises that the police will sort everything out and that Cam will be taken care of. Lacey receives a package, an envelope with photographs from the fateful party. At that moment Rebecca appears. She has been hiding in Lacey's house all this time and begins to threaten her with a gun. If Lacey had not started digging, it would not have gone this far, Rebecca is certain of that. Lacey begs her friend to come to her senses, promising that together they will get through this. But when it becomes clear that Rebecca has snapped, believing she has nothing left to lose, Lacey fights back and takes the gun from her. She tries to convince her friend that there is still a chance to make the right choice and fix everything. Rebecca admits that she is scared. She never intended to harm Lacey. The gun is not even loaded. The women begin working together to sort everything out and help Cam. Someone posts bail for Addie, and she is released. By comparing the bracelet in Cam's photo with Neil's bracelet, Lacey uncovers a terrible truth. Addie returns home, wondering who posted bail for her, and leaves Lacey a voicemail. At that moment Neil attacks her. The man's real name is Kurt, her ex-husband. After receiving the voicemail, Lacey and Rebecca race to her, while Kurt demands that his ex-wife hand over the flash drive. Suddenly her friends appear to save her. But it is not so simple. Kurt anticipates the attempt to outsmart him and takes all the women hostage. Blake was the key to getting to Addie. Seizing the moment Lacey tries to escape, but Kurt grabs her. Addie saves her friend by dealing Kurt a fatal blow. Some time passes. Lacey and Blake are now happy parents and business partners. Lacey, Rebecca and Addie are still best friends. All the bad things are behind them, and ahead, only good things. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.